less is always more. There's one question that I always get, and loads of guys seem to have a problem with using the same material over and over and over again. You know, for instance, you have a couple icebreakers and you say them all the time, and you get that feeling that tells you you need more. You need to know more pickup lines. You need to know more routines that you can use for creating attraction. You need more material to make you appear more interesting. And to give you the cold hard truth, that's BS. Because less is always more. You need to look at it from a different perspective. You only need as much material to get the job done. And there's, as you remember, there's two techniques, two styles, two schools of picking up women. The natural way and the structured way. Now, ultimately, you want to make sure that you can rely on just being yourself, a real man who has all the characteristics women want and find attractive, right? But if you get stuck, you want to be able to pull out of your brain pocket some lines to fill in those little weird silences if you get stuck, okay? But the critical skill that you must master is to create attraction, comfort, and trust on the fly, because it requires quick thinking. Now, the most asked question in my emails, besides some other stuff, is give me another line. Give me some more material. What else could I say? That's a famous one. What else? Why? Why do you need more? Was the first one not good enough? Yes, it worked, but I wanted something else to say. Okay, well look, it's the underlying principle of how the technique works. But again, you need to get the job done, okay? And this is where the addiction plays a big role, that people always need to find better lines and more material that has a bigger impact. I mean, look, I'm not creating hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines just so I forget 99% of them. I mean, that'd be bullshit. I only use a handful of backup lines or default lines that I know will work when I don't know what else to say. So why would you need more? Because I want to do it the natural way. I don't want to rely on all those routines that just turn you into a social robot, okay? This is not a game that has to be played like you're being some obsessed freak, okay? This is life. Enjoy it. And look, what I do is I grab the attention. Hey, I fire in one default line if I don't know what else to say. The mascara line, okay? They laugh, and then maybe they don't respond, and then I just use another one and maybe modify it a little bit. You know, what I really didn't understand or never understood was, why do women always fall for bad boys? How come I'm so irresistible to women? Tell me. And they always laugh and they go like, oh, you know what? You're so cute. I should take you back home on a plane to Cali, but they don't really let blondies on the plane because they can't always steal your pillow. And then they laugh, and then you go like, okay, look, we're having a birthday party over there with my buddies. Do you want to join us? And they go like, yeah, sure. And then you go over there. But it doesn't take much, okay? You don't need more lines at that point because you already passed the attraction stage. It happens so quickly. You don't need more lines. Use the mascara line for all I care. You might just get her hooked just like that after you said it. Or use 2 lines and modify it, but you don't need loads of material. That's what I've been trying to say, all you guys. The biggest mistake in this game, once you reach the next level, is to think that you need more, and more. Because that's when the slope begins to fall. You need to rely on less, and less, so you can use the natural way of picking up women. Look, the lines are like a crutch. You need to learn the techniques and the way of picking up women by using some of my lines that are guaranteed to work no matter pretty much what you say, okay? Then you create your own lines that have a good impact, and then you don't use the lines anymore because you rely on your body language, gesture, and just simple things like you say, hey, how you doing? I think you're cute. What's your name? You know, little things. So instead of more, because you may think, oh, if I know more material, that means I'm a bigger player and I have so much to say. No, you don't, because you need to rely on less, so you can just do it the natural way. That is the goal here. So, again, less has a higher impact. Okay? So remember that. Personally, I don't have a car. No, really. I don't own a car. And it's one of those reasons why guys really don't believe me how I can pick up women. So, well, when I'm out, I use a cab. Because, you know, sometimes I like 1 or 2 beers and then, you know, just having fun. And when I have to go back to my place, sometimes you gotta go and get on a cab and go to your place. And this is what happens to a lot of guys out there who like to go clubbing or go to discos or like to go to a certain bar and have a couple of drinks too, and then they don't want to drive home. I know a lot of guys do it, but, you know, don't. You know, if the cops catch you, no more license for you, buddy. So, if you have to take a cab, okay, you are in the car, and you picked up a woman, and it's like late at night, or it's even during the day, and you're driving to your place, okay? That's one thing. Make sure you drive to your place and not hers, so you have full control. And once you're in that car, I bet my ass on it that she will say, but we're not going to have sex, okay? It will happen. Now, I already told you what to say. Ignore it and say, okay, and just keep doing whatever else you're doing. Don't get into an argument and say, oh, why not? But I thought you liked me, yeah? But the key here is, it's not the line what you say. It's not, okay. It's what you display, okay? It's this whole, I'm not needy for sex. I don't need it. I don't care, okay? Whatever it is, I'm not going to think less of you if you sleep with me or if you don't, because I don't care. I can get it any day. So you're not that special kind of thing. You don't say it, okay? You just have to communicate, you know, the subconscious communication, 93%, yeah? You got to communicate that you're not that bothered, okay? And you do that by saying, okay, but you still want to get there, right? So you just keep going, okay? But she will know that you're not that bothered, okay? In a way, it makes you sort of a challenge, okay? Now, I know a lot of players have a little trick here to say, they use that line on the women themselves. Say, look, I'm not going to sleep with you that early, just so you know. I'm not that kind of guy. And they go like, what? So you can use that as well. But as a general rule, you got to show that you're not like all the other guys. But the dirty trick here, if you really want to go for it, is to not let her know that you're bothered. You don't care if it happens. But you still keep going, okay? And if she says it in the car, she doesn't want to appear like a slut, okay? Most women, they really don't know what can happen, okay? But, again, they don't say no. They know when they don't want it, but if they do want it, they don't know, okay? That's why women always say, oh, I never thought we would end up in bed that quickly, or I never thought it would happen like that fast, or I only thought we'd just kind of kiss and stuff. I would never thought that we're just going to go full Monty and stuff. Yeah, that's what I usually get. But again, just make sure that you don't come across like it bothers you if it happens or not. Just say, okay, and keep going, whether it's in the car or at your house. All right? Because if you just say okay and keep going, you'll get there. Some guys still seem to struggle a little bit once they have a woman at their place. And the normal way of doing things would be to get physical, okay? And especially when it's after midnight, it's getting late, you're at your house, you're just had a great night, you spent loads of time together, and you may have kissed her like already, and you don't really know how to get her from like standing in your living room to her bed, okay? Now, there's two ways. One way is just to get physical and start escalating things, okay? But there's an even better way of doing it, okay? Because you must understand that a woman kind of knows what can happen, but is not sure yet if she should do it, okay? She will look to you and let you make the decisions, okay? For her. And what you don't want is give her an excuse to bail out, okay, if you do want it. Because women sometimes think, well, I'm not sure what I should do now, okay? So you have to make up her mind for herself which way she has to go. And one way is just to just make out, okay? You just keep touching, get physical, get intimate, and then you'll just, it happens, okay? But there's another way of doing it. It's when you say, look, I'm really tired. You want some shorts? Here's some shorts. And then you give her some of your clothes, okay, I hope they're clean, and then you just go upstairs, go to your bedroom and say, you coming? Okay? It's a natural way, okay? But what you don't want is to entangle yourself in an argument, okay? Because, for example, if she says, we're not going to have sex, I'm not going to sleep with you, and then you're going to start to say, but why not? Blah, 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 okay? The key is to do it in a way that it's a normal thing for you to do, okay? She will assume once you get to your place, if you just make out, that, okay, well, fair enough, that's what you do. It's normal for you, okay? You don't bother and stuff. But if you just give her some shorts, okay, you can go to bed. But you have to do it in a way that is normal for you, because you say, I'm really tired. Look, here's some shorts. You want to come through once you're ready? And she'll be like, okay. Look, I know this sounds crazy, but just try it, okay? It works every single time, okay? Especially when it's like midnight, 11 o'clock, okay? Because it acts as an excuse to go to bed, okay? Now, you don't need to do anything if you don't want to, but it gets a woman into bed, and then you can just let loose if you want. But the key is to A, not let it bother you if it happens or not, and to make it appear like it's a completely natural thing for you to do. Okay? So this is one trick of getting a woman into bed if you still kind of feel uncomfortable to just make out in your living room and stuff, and escalate things from there, okay? But you can even combine it. Escalate little things and just say, look, here's some shorts. Let's go to my bedroom. Or you just grab her and just go to bedroom. That's it, okay? But that was just a little trick for some of the guys who still feel a little bit uncomfortable of taking it to bed that quickly, okay? That's kind of a bridge. And in my experience, it's worked very, very well. So it will work for you too. In this next segment, I want to give you the cream of the cream of my lines and my material that I personally use. Okay, this is some very heavy stuff. But before we go into this, there's some things you gotta know. First of all, those are my lines, okay? Now I'm fine with you using some of them, but they may not have as big as an impact for you as they have for me, unless you do it the same way I do it, okay? Now, I don't want you to do it the same way I do it because it's me. You may be a little bit different than me, and that's a good thing. I used those lines and created it based on my personality, okay? They work. And they work even better when I say them with my body language, my gesture, tonality, facial expressions, okay? I'm a cocky mofo sometimes, and yes, once I say one of those lines the way I say them, well, attraction just goes through the roof. And the other thing you gotta know is that really it's not the line. What is important is the other 93% of what you communicate, okay? Gesture, whole body language, if you pause, the pitches, facial expressions, your smiles. your way you look, all those things make a line work or not. Now there's some guys who use my lines and completely screw it up. Why? Because of the other 93%. 7% is the sequence of the words. 93% is how they come across. Okay, how you say them. And there's two reasons I have not used, I'm not going to give you too much material, because first of all, not even I use a gazillion lines, okay? I do pretty much everything natural, the natural way. And the other one is that, well, you don't need a lot of lines anyway. You got to do it the natural way too. But again, it serves you as guidelines, okay? If you're really stuck and don't know what to say, then yes, use some of my lines and they do work, okay? Even for yourself, even if you're just a beginner. They are much, much better than what you have made, what you've used in the past, okay? But the goal is to do it the natural way and only rely on those lines and that material if you really need to, okay? So use some of those lines and material of mine to create your own. Okay, here are my default lines that I currently use when I'm out trying to pick up women, okay? And there's not a lot of them, but they always work, and I don't need more than 3 or 4 anyway, okay? And I think I've mentioned them in this program already, so I want to just give you a quick lowdown again, okay? So you can write them down. The first one is the most obvious one. It's, hey, how you doing? That not only gets the attention, but gets me in. It's like an icebreaker and works very, very well with single women. Works with groups as well, but it works best with single women. Hey, how you doing? The second one is my most famous mascara line, okay? I don't think I need to repeat that one now, but it has the highest impact, okay? And another one is the difference between a G-string and a thong. Another one is why do women always like bad boys? Or why do nice guys suck? Or who gets more jealous, girls or guys? And there's other ones. Do you believe in ESP? Are you superstitious? I need a female opinion. That's another thing. I forgot to mention that. I think I did. The buffers. There's certain things you can say before a line that kind of increases the tension and makes it more interesting. It's not the pausing thing. It's, hey guys, did you know? Or hey guys, I need a female opinion here. Is it true that those little small lines are like buffer? Okay, they increase the tension. And for instance, when you use, hey guys, I need a female opinion here. Is it true? Or why, and then pause, do all women like pink? And obviously not all women like pink, so they're going to get in a big argument and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Why do women like pink so much and always go for sparkles? Yeah? So that's one of those famous lines. But I only use about 2 or 3 of those default lines in a pickup. You never need to use more. Because they're not the actual icebreakers, but they serve as an intro to a conversation, okay? They open a setup. They get you engaged. They fire up a good conversation, okay? Something that works really well in a group where everybody can just contribute something to it. Who gets more jealous? Girls or guys? Why do women like bad boys so much? I really don't understand why I'm so irresistible. Just be a little bit cocky here, and it always gets a laugh, okay? Or, it's not really an intro, it's more of an attraction line. If you say, hey guys, please stop staring at me like I'm some piece of meat. I'm not a sex object, It always gets a laugh, right? But please, please, please bear in mind that you got to create your own lines. Don't just use mine. Always a line. A line always works best if you've created it for yourself and it is you who delivers it. We all know now how attraction is created, okay? I mean, that should be very, very easy for you now. But since this is a master's program, what I want to do is I want to give you some of my high impact examples of creating quick and a lot of attraction within a couple seconds. Okay, they're not jokes, but they are high impact lines for creating attraction. There's some of my personal lines that I sometimes just can throw in any time just to fire up the attraction real quick. Okay, you can create them yourself, or you can use mine. Either way, it works really well for heating up the attraction anytime you want, whether it be in the beginning of a conversation, at the getting to know each other phase, anytime. Okay, and let me just give you a couple examples here of what I use. Now, it took me a long time to work these out, but I did not sit down at a table and make that stuff up, okay? I just used the techniques I explained to you in my books, how to create attraction, and then they just came naturally, okay? Now, one line I always use that I have is like when a woman asks me, "Can I ask you something?" You know what I say? I just say, "Yeah, sure." 9 inches. And it always gets a laugh. She just says, "How many times does that happen?" A woman asks you, "Can I ask you something?" And all you got to do is, "Yeah, sure." 9.5 inches. And she goes like, "Oh, shut up." But again, it heats up a lot of attraction. Another one is when she says, no, when you say, that's what you can do, is you say, "By the way, where are you from?" And then she goes like, from Paris, or from New York, or from LA. And you go like, "Oh my God, really? I think I just fell in love with you. Now go away, you're in trouble." And then you turn your back on her, okay? So it's like a push and pull technique. You say, "Where are you from, by the way?" And she goes like, "I don't know, Texas." And you say, "Oh my God, really? I think I just fell totally in love with you. Now go away, you're in trouble," okay? This whole love thing is all like, "Oh my God." And then you completely go 180 degrees, and then now go away, you're in trouble, turn it back. It gets a laugh all the time. Okay? Or another one I always use is when she says, "So what do you do?" Okay? You know, it's like a standard question, and all you gotta say is, "Wow, I've never heard that before. Is that what you always say to cute little guys?" But you know, you kind of play on what the wussbags always do, and she goes like, "Oh, shut up. How should I make conversation?" Okay? And then you can use it against her and say, "Oh, you know, I think you're really hot. Do you want me to buy you a drink? You got really pretty eyes." And they kind of, you know, just kind of play being like a nice guy, and it works really well, okay? And another thing is, this works extremely well with hotties and tens, okay? When they say a stupid question, like they always get, "So what's your name? Where are you from?" You can just say, "Oh, I've never heard that one before." Is that what you always do when you're trying to pick up guys? "Here, let me try. Can I offer you a drink? You got really pretty eyes. Hey, you got a number?" You know, that kind of thing. Okay, it works really well with hot girls. And that's a really funny one. But you gotta be careful. When you say to a girl, "Hey, listen, you're not one of those girls who snore at night, are you?" And it always gets a laugh, right? Because he kind of assumes that you're gonna get her home and stuff. And it's really funny if you're in a group of women and you keep talking and you turn to the really hot one, okay, like, and with a really cocky face, and they say, "Who the hell are you?" Yeah, like, and who the hell are you? You know, being really cocky to the really, really hot one, okay? But it only works with tens and hotties, okay? And when she's kind of bitchy, all you gotta do is say, smile, turn to her girlfriends and say, "Hey, is she always like that? I think she's cute." Okay? Now, this is something I got from The Simpsons, actually. When you have something like a napkin or something, okay, and it works well on a date or something. When you pick it up, you just make little crumbs out of it. You know, you just rip something off a napkin, you throw it at her, and you say, "Keep throwing things at you. Keep." Oh, no. I'll do that again. Another one is that works really well on a date, okay? If you know the woman like for like, I don't know, half an hour, 2 hours or something, and you got like a little napkin or something. And then what you do is you rip little pieces off and you throw it at her and you say, stop throwing things at you. Stop throwing things at you, okay? It's like from The Simpsons, okay? It works as well. Another one is when, well, I don't know, when you meet her for a date, okay? And you kind of assume like you already know her and stuff. She's like, oh, did you have a really stressful day, baby? And she goes like, yeah, really. And then you go, oh, do you want to cuddle? And she goes like, yes, please. And then you go like, no, I tell you what, I'd rather want to kiss. And you just kiss her, okay? And she goes, you're so cocky, blah blah. You're such a bad boy. It works, okay? It works. Get a quick kiss. Another one is when you're dealing with a really beautiful woman. When you say, you know, you're not really my type, although you're kind of cute. I think we can figure something out. Yeah? And that's a very powerful line right there. So make sure you use that one wisely. Another one is when you spot a wuss bag in a crowd. Okay, now I hate to kind of look down on other people who don't get it. Okay, but this is something I picked up from players to kind of create attraction. It's when you spot like a guy who's really unattractive to women. Okay, who looks like he's going to buy people drinks. I mean, who buys girls drinks. Okay, and you tell him, hey, look, I think I found the perfect lover for you. I think he's over there. You want to go and ask him if he's going to buy you a drink? Yeah, he's going to ask you how pretty you are and blah, 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 blah. Yeah? Let me go over there and make him to come over, okay? And she's going to go like, no, stay here. Yeah, that works, okay? And another one is, like, when you say, you know, you kind of have this Mona Lisa smile. Yeah, it's kind of cute. My little niece had exactly the same one, and I used to pick on her for like days. I think we're gonna get along just great. And that's a really cool one. Another one that I always use is when you get something to eat, okay? Like a chocolate bar, or some cookies, or some candy, whatever, okay? And then you offer her something. For example, you just have like a chocolate bar, right? And then you offer her something like, you want a bite? And then she goes like, yes, please, okay? And then you kind of hold it like close to her nose and stuff, to her mouth. And then when she's about to take a bite, you just pull it away and you take a big bite out of it and just smile, okay? And trust me, that look on her face right then and there is absolutely priceless, okay? Try it out. And this is another one I used, is, you know Titanic, right? That's really funny on a date. Every woman loves the movie Titanic. And what you do is when you kind of close to a river or something, or like when there's a railing, or like you're in a building or something, and then you ask, you like the movie Titanic? And she goes like, yeah, sure. And then you go like, okay, let's play something from Titanic. Like, you just stand here, right? And then you always think of that beautiful romantic scene, you know, when DiCaprio holds like doing like over at the front of the boat and stuff, you know, in a really sensual way. And then what you do, right? You stand next to her and do this. And you just spit out, right? And it's just going to go like, oh, you're so disgusting. I thought we were going to do something else. You go, oh, well, that's not what I thought. Okay, but she's going to love it, trust me. I know it's really disgusting, but hey, you're a guy, so don't make any excuses for yourself. And this is another one I picked up from one of my player friends. It's when you are at the takeaway, okay? You picked up a woman, for instance, and you're about to go to the takeaway, okay? And it's a really slick way of getting to either the woman's place or to your place, okay? It's when you say, let's just say you were with a woman at the takeaway and you order about a burger or some fries or something, and you say, there's all that greasy shit, I can't be bothered. You got any cornflakes at home or something? Or you got any cereal at home? And she's going to go like, obviously everybody's got cereal at home. And once you say, I'm not bothered with this junk, do you got any cereal at home or something? She's going to go like, yeah. And you say, yeah, okay, I'll get something there then, okay? And then you just go to her place. And it may look a little aggressive, but it works a lot of times because you just assume you're going to go to her place. And by saying, look, I'm not going to eat any of that stuff, let's just go to your place and have some cereal, okay? The way is free. Okay? You got your shot, so go for it. There's another trick that I always use is when there's two women. And obviously you can't separate them that much. So when it comes to getting the number or getting a date, you seek the approval of the one you don't want, then go back to the one you want and said it was okay. So, for instance, you've been talking to that woman for like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, and then you turn to her friend and say, hey, look, I really like your friend. Is it okay with you if we go shopping tomorrow? And obviously she's going to say, yeah. Then you go back to the woman you want and say, hey, all right, so cool. Your friend obviously likes me. What time is good for you? Okay, and she's going to go like, what? Yeah, well, we're going to go shopping tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. So it already paved the way in a really quick time frame so you don't kind of waste a lot of time with getting to know each other. So you already got the approval of her friend, okay? Even though she doesn't really know about it. But once a woman kind of sees that her friends kind of like you and stuff and it's kind of okay, they give you their number and much more likely to turn up for a date, okay? May not sound like much, but from experience, that's how it is, okay? And if you're really into strip clubs, this is one I used when one comes over and just says, hi, I'm Brooklyn. What's your name? And again, you know you got to change the topic. Yeah. So one of those default lines I always used is, I just completely change the topic and say, do you like apple pie? Which one do you like better? McDonald's or homemade? And I always go into this whole conversation, okay? But only if you're really into, like, you know, exotic dancers and stuff. That line works really, really well, okay? So those were some of the examples of what I use when it comes to creating attraction, okay? I gave you loads and loads and loads of examples in other programs of how to create attraction and what to say, and those were just kind of one-off examples and one-liners that you can use to heat up the attraction. But I don't memorize these things, okay? They just come out because it feels natural for me to say these things. And what I recommend is that you can have a look at these examples I just gave you, use whatever you want to use, and make up your own stuff, okay? I always found that what works best for each individual is when he just has a go at creating attraction and then use what has worked for him in the past. So reuse all those lines you've used in your past to create attraction and just use them again, okay? Those are just some of my high impact examples that worked really well for me that you can use as well. But just make sure that you use your stuff first before you have a go at my stuff, okay? Do you know what a date plan is? Well, I gotta tell you, a date plan has to be the dirtiest and most manipulative way of rushing through the getting to know each other phase until you can seduce the woman and get physical. And what happened to me many years ago was that I discovered there's a certain structure that goes on dates, and if you plan it correctly, you shouldn't lose the girl on a date, okay? Once you got the number and managed to get her on a date, you should not lose out. You should never ever lose the girl. This is what happens to me all the time. Once I got the girl on a date, okay, I can seal the deal 9 out of 10 times. Not because I know what I'm doing, but because I planned it correctly. Okay, I'm always 2 steps ahead of the woman. You do remember that I told you that you need to lead. Women don't like to make the decisions. It's up to you to make them, and then she will follow. The most common problem is when you have a guy who doesn't lead and you have a woman who wants to follow but can't. And that's where the problem arises. And what I found was if you can tackle the biggest problem, logistics, you can always get a woman to your place and enter the seduction phase. Okay? And let's use the two examples that I use all the time, the two methods of bridging the getting to know each other phase, building confident trust, and bridging that to the seduction stage. And I use that by either saying, hey, I'm really hungry, let's go cook something at my house, or let's go rent a DVD. Okay? Now, I've gotten a lot of emails from guys who said, hey, I always somehow screw up on a date. And they just couldn't figure out why they were losing the girl, or they just couldn't go to their place. And I told them, well, look, it may be that you didn't create enough attraction, that you were not as interested, but the most common problem I came across is logistics, okay? You planned the date wrong. Obviously, you don't go to cinemas and restaurants and pair lots of stuff, okay? That doesn't really work because you're not different. But what you want to do is not only be 2 steps ahead of the woman, but make sure that you can flow into the next stage very smoothly, and it just happened to be that way, okay? Let me explain, okay? What I usually do is I meet up with a woman during the afternoon, okay? And I just go window shopping. Or I just pretend to have to do something like, get my cell phone repaired, or gotta visit this store, or go do certain things, and she can, she can keep me company. Okay? And it's a very slick way of making yourself hard to get and appear as a challenge. And what I do is I plan those dates, okay? I don't just say, look, I'll meet you whenever I can on this date and whatever time is good for you. I plan those things out. So when I say, look, I could meet you not Tuesday, not Wednesday, but Thursday afternoon, you can keep me company and, just hold my shopping bags for me, something. I know exactly what I'm doing. I go shopping, like window shopping, for instance, or do whatever I have to do. Then I go to a coffee shop, okay? It's 2 venues, 2 mini dates, okay? It makes it feel you've known each other for longer, and it creates confident trust much faster if you venue change on a date. But when I say let's meet at 3, 4 o'clock, I know exactly what happens. I need about 2-3 hours to create a lot of confident trust, and then I have some other options. I can say, look, I'm really hungry because it's getting to like dinner time, 7 o'clock, and I can say, look, let's go cook something at my house, and there's a high chance that she'll be hungry too, okay? Or what I can say is, if nobody's really that hungry, I can either just meet up a bit later on and just say, look, because it's already kind of getting dark, 8, 9 o'clock-ish, and you go to a bar. And the only reason why you can go to the bar is either the venue change or just get a little bit drunk, okay? If she happens to be a bit shy. But I've planned out my dates carefully. I know exactly what I should do on the first date to get to the seduction phase, okay? And the most common problems guys have who don't know how to rush through that phase really quickly are of the nature of logistics, okay? They may live with their parents, okay? They may have people living with them in their house, okay? So, you're not by yourself. Or you may live like 1-2 hours away from the city, and then if you want to get her to your house, it's like a 2-hour drive, okay? Which is a bit of a pain in the butt. And hotels are not really, a good option here. Other problems may be that all the supermarkets are closed, or it's like 30-40 minute drive, okay, which is only a pain in the butt. Or there's no DVD rental place, no Blockbuster, no movie banks, no anything if you want to rent a DVD, okay? And those are problems of logistics, okay? Look, I live right in the city, so I don't really have those problems, but you need to set up your dates in a way that suits you best, okay? You don't set up a date in the city if you live like 3 hours away and then think, oh yeah, if it goes well, I might be able to get her to my place. That's stupid. That's really stupid. If you really want to do that, you set up the date like near your house. That's one way of doing it. It's really stupid to set up dates just because you want to meet up a woman. If you just want to build comfort and trust, okay, you just want to meet her once and build confident trust so you can maybe set up another date at your house for this, day 2. That is fine. Okay, that works. But date plans is all about planning your date. Well, obviously. So you need to calculate your logistics. You need to know, you can't just set up a date and then just hope that it will go well, because you need to know what you're going to do. Look, let's say you've been talking to her for 2 hours in a bar or in a cafe. Okay, and then what? And then what? Do you want to make up something on the fly, like right then and there? Look, there was this woman I met once. I picked her up in I think it was in a pub or in a bar or something. And then we traded numbers, and then I said, look, what are you doing tomorrow? And she's like, well, nothing really. Okay, she wasn't working, so like, okay, well, let's meet up for a couple hours because I got to do this thing in town. You can keep me company, okay? So I already knew that once I meet up with her, it's like 3, 4 o'clock. All the shops are open. You can go window shopping, do your thing, and then go to a coffee shop. We're just going to last like 1, 2 hours, whatever. And I have 2 options right then and there, okay? I could either bail out and just say, look, I got to bounce, and but, I'll meet you like during the week or something, okay? Play hard to get. Or you could change venue again if you want it and go to a bar, or just, say, let's go cook something, okay? But that wasn't the case because she was working, okay? She was working at night, okay? But I already knew that, okay? So I set up the date early, and I knew, okay, look, let's go window shopping. Then we go to a cafe, and then I already knew that she has to bounce, so I just made that excuse that, look, I got to bounce too, but we can just meet, I can meet you like during the week or something, at the weekend, okay? So at the weekend, I was already at a further stage because there was a lot of confident trust. It's about 3, 4 hours of, building comfort and rapport. So I knew that I could jump in at a later stage. So what I did was, okay, look, I'll meet you at 7. Was it Saturday or something? Or Friday? I can't remember. So I met her at 7 o'clock, and then I said, look, I'm really hungry. I want to go, get a bite to eat. So we just, went to like some small takeaway type of thing, got a sandwich or something. And I was like, okay, well, tell you what, it was like 8 o'clock. So like, you want to go to a bar? She's like, okay. So you won't go to a bar, and it's 8 o'clock. Then to like 9, 10 o'clock, and then at like 9, I'm like, I already knew that I could take things further, okay? I knew she wasn't working the next morning because it was a weekend. So instead of saying, like, hey, I'm really hungry, you want to go cook something? Or, hey, you want to go to your place? I said, hey, you got any good DVDs? Let's go rent something. And I knew that there was a 24-hour DVD rental place around the corner. One of those things you can just, like, put in your kind of credit card or so, or, like, your ID, and then it gives you, like, a free DVD and stuff, and you have to return it, like Blockbuster. And I knew that, okay? And she was like, okay. So we went there, got a DVD, and then we went to her place, okay? And the only reason we went to her place is because her place was literally around the corner. My place was like 20-minute drive, but I knew that, okay? And I planned those things out, okay? I didn't just say, okay, I'll meet you at 7 o'clock, and then see how things went. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I knew that I was going to say, look, I was hungry. I'm hungry, let's go get something to eat. She's like, yeah, I'm hungry too. There was a high chance you didn't have dinner anyway. So, went to buy to eat, and then we went to a bar, get a couple drinks, loosen up. It's pretty easy. And then, after 2 hours, there was loads of comfort, loads of trust because of the day before, and now it's getting late tonight, okay? And you know what happens at night. So, I made up an excuse to go to her place. Hey, you want to go rent a DVD? And she's like, okay. Rent a DVD, go to her place, and here's the key. You don't even need to watch the DVD, okay? But it happened to be a cool DVD, and I really wanted to watch it because I didn't really care. So we ended up watching like halfway through the DVD, and after that, it was on, alright? But what I want you to take from this is, do not just plan and set up your dates randomly when it suits her best. you need to take into account a lot of things. Are you working the next morning? Is she working? Do you have access to bars, clubs, cafes, DVD rental places, supermarkets? And everything has to be stringed closely together, okay? Because you can't allow to have a 2-hour drive, okay? That doesn't really work because a 2-hour drive will feel a bit awkward and stuff. And most girls don't really kind of like, okay, well, just, have a 2-hour drive and stuff, okay? Because if it's really early on in dating, okay, if you stay a couple hours out of town, it's better to set up the date close to yours, okay? But as a first date, meet up in the city, and then after the second date, you can just say, like I did, I'll meet you at the weekend or something, okay? And it always works. And again, it's a very manipulative way of rushing through the bigger part of the gameplay, after the attraction, okay? I know it's very dirty and slick and a bit manipulative, but look, if you want a certain outcome, if you want to get that woman, you got to be smart. You always have to be 2 steps ahead of the woman, okay? You got to lead, and the worst thing you want to do is trying to figure out what you could do next on that date. You should have already made that decision beforehand, okay? So carefully craft your dates. Where are you going to set up, what time, and what you're going to do, so you have no problem of rushing through that game plan, okay? And the dates the dates are in the getting to know each other phase. And another thing I want you to remember is, the key is to appear like it's a completely natural thing for you. Get a DVD, cook something because you're hungry, don't make a big deal out of it. And that's the key to bridging those stages together and go from one stage to the next one, is to appear like it's a completely natural thing for you to go to somebody's place, rent a DVD, go to a bar, get a couple drinks, and go to hers, whatever, okay? If you're nervous, you're dead. So again, make sure you plan your dates carefully. When do you think is the best time to take a woman's number in the game plan? At what stage should you take her number? Now, we already know that it's possible to get a woman's phone number in a couple minutes. Is that a good thing? Is that efficient? Will it work? Well, you may get a lot of fakes. Women will tend to be flaky. They might stand you up on a date. They may not return your phone calls if you take the phone number too early. What you want to do is go for the number after you've entered the getting to know each other phase, okay? You got to build some comfort and trust to make the attraction stick, okay? I think I explained this to you already. Now, the thing is, a lot of guys just go for the number and leave, and that's crap. Because, think about it, what's a number for? To contact her again. But here's a little trick that I always use. I always set up the date before I go for the number, okay? Even if it's not confirmed, you still make hints towards the date. You rush through the attraction phase, get to know each other a little bit. What's your name, where you're from, blah, 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 right? Tell some interesting stories. And then you say, what you doing tomorrow? What you doing this week? And then she's probably going to say, I don't know, nothing. Whatever it is. And you say, look, I got to go to town tomorrow. I got to go to this place at the weekend. Do this thing. If you're nice, you can keep me company. All right? It doesn't need to be anything confirmed, okay? And then you say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, look, let's trade numbers and we sort something out. Okay? You have to appear like you're interested in her and meeting her and not to get the number, okay? This is what everybody does. Everybody just wants to go for the number and thinks, okay, well, now I got a number, now I can leave, now I can call her up and ask her if she wants to have a date with me. No, 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 no. The first time you meet a woman, you should already make hints towards the date that you want to meet her again, kind of thing. Or, no, not that you want to meet her again, but that she should meet you again, okay? But again, you don't leave. The more you can rush through the game plan the first time you meet her, the better, okay? You don't need to bail out. This is more advanced stuff now, okay? You shouldn't make any mistakes. And think about it. If you already set up a date, why would you need the number? If she's confirmed that she's going to meet you tomorrow at this place, okay, would you really need the number? Technically, no, but it's always a good thing to have the number just in case, okay? I mean, you'd be stupid to not take the number. But a number is just like a bridge to go from one stage to the next, and because you have to cut off the getting to know each other phase at some stage, okay, because it's about 6 to 8 hours long. So you need a way to contact her again, okay? That's why I go for the number. But you only take the number once you entered the getting to know each other phase, and B, you don't take it unless you basically told her that she should meet you again this week or something. What you doing this week? Yada, 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 okay? And here's the biggest problem that a lot of guys just think they got to do. Once you got a number, okay, and you said, okay, what you doing tomorrow? Okay, I can get you Thursday or something, okay? You do not need to call her every day or send her shitloads of text messages, okay? If you set up a date, okay, or it's not really confirmed, that's what happens in most cases. You just say what you're doing tomorrow, okay, and she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know what she's doing, okay? Let's just say nothing has been confirmed. Then the next day, you give her a call or send her a text message, okay, to set something up. But you do not need to create comfort or heat up attraction a lot once you call her or text her, okay? That's not the job. Your objective is to get her on that date, okay? And a lot of folk use text messaging nowadays, right? So you do not need 12 text messages just to arrange a date. You know how many text messages you should use to arrange another date? 3 max. A maximum, okay? So what you do is you send her one text message and you create some attraction, okay? It should be easy. Create a little attraction and ask her if she's okay for tomorrow, this day, or whatever, okay? And she's going to reply back and say something, yeah, well, I can't meet you then, but what about this day, and blah, blah, blah. And you say, okay, well, blah, 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 okay, I'll see you there, okay? Keep it short, okay? Please, please, keep it short. Don't try to talk by sending her lots of text messages and create attraction too much and blah, 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 okay? Because you will shoot yourself in the foot. It's not part of the game plan, okay? The goal is to get her to meet you, not to create attraction or comfort on the phone while you're not there, okay? It's a crap idea. The same goes with calling up a woman, okay? Now, that's a good way of meeting up a date because it's easier if you don't want to text her, right? But keep it short, 15 minutes max, that's it. Call her up, what you're doing, creates a little attraction, and then cut it short. Say, look, I got to go do this thing, but I can meet you like this week, whatever. Yeah? Your job is not to call her up and spend 2 hours on the phone. That's crap. It doesn't work. Look, it's not part of the game plan. You should not create either comfort or attraction on the phone, okay? Some people think, well, I could just call her up and then spend like an hour on the phone and just talk, so I'll be further ahead in the getting to know each other phase. No, that's not true. Whatever time you spend on the phone doesn't count. Whatever time you spend texting a woman doesn't count. The only time that will be accountable and that counts is the time you spend with her, not the time you talk to her. Okay? There's a big difference. So, again, you got a number, just confirm the date, just set it up real quick and reconfirm it, okay? But keep it as short as possible. That's the key. Alright, the fastest number trick. There's a little method that I created. If you use it, you can get a woman's phone number in about 90 seconds flat. Okay? But before I teach you how to do this, I want you to be aware that the faster you get a woman's number, the more damage you'll do. Okay? Because you're still in the attraction phase and the attraction didn't stick. Okay? But it's a really cool tool to use and it's a lot of fun. Okay? And I'm going to teach you how to do this. What you do is you just walk up to a couple girls and say, hey guys, and you say, do you believe in ESP? Do you believe in mind reading? Something like that, okay? And then they're going to say, oh, I don't know. And then say, okay, well, check this out, okay? And you take out a little pen, a little piece of paper, and you say, okay, well, look, let's try this. Think of the first thing that pops up in your mind, okay? Now you do this to the hot one. And then, or it doesn't matter who it is, right? And then she say, oh, okay, I got something, okay? And then you just write something down, right? And then you just look in her eyes and just write this down, okay? And then you thought of something, okay? And then the key here is to show it to her friend and not to her, okay? And what you've written, SCX, right? That's the first thing that pops up in her mind, okay? Now her friend is gonna laugh. She's gonna be like, oh, what is it? And they're gonna show her, yeah, is that? Nasty girl, she's, okay, and they're gonna laugh and she's gonna go, oh, you're so funny. But the girls will laugh, right? And then you're gonna say, okay, that was nasty of me, okay? Well, I'll tell you what, let's try something for real, okay? Here, you hold it, okay? Then you give her a piece of paper, okay? And give her the pen. And then you say, okay, well, let's try something else. I don't know, let's try numbers, okay? And then you say, think of the first 3 digits of your phone number, but not the area code. And they say, and then you kind of turn around, okay, but don't show me, but write it down, okay? And then fold it. Yeah? And the key here is, and not the area code, and then fold it, okay? And she's going to write down the first 3 numbers, okay? And then you say, okay, now make a dash, write down the last 4, and fold it twice now, okay? Basically say, now write down the last 4 or the last digits of your phone number, make a dash first, and then fold it twice, okay? Now put it in my hand, okay? And now they have absolutely no clue what they're doing, right? They're really going to think that you're going to do mind reading. So you put it in the hand and stuff, and you're going to go like, okay. And then you're going to say, well, thanks for your phone number. And trust me, right? As stupid as it sounds, it works every single time, okay? Now, I'm not saying women are stupid or naive, but if you do this right, if you pronounce it the correct way and kind of misdirect it, write down the first 3 numbers of your phone number, but not the area code, and then make a dash and like fold it. You got it? Okay, well, once you make the dash, write down the last 4 and then fold it twice now. Okay? It's misdirection. And then you're going to fold it twice, you're going to put it in your hand, and then she says, thanks for your phone number, okay? And it works every single time. But you need to be aware that even though you created some attraction, okay, if you actually call that number 99 times, 99% of the times, it's a real one. It's not a fake. Okay. Sometimes you go, oh, by the way, it's not my real phone number. But don't worry about it. It is the real one. Okay. They're not that smart to figure that one out if you do it correctly. But if you actually think they got a phone number, then you're wrong because the attraction did not stick, and you kind of tricked her. Okay. You played her. You got her phone number, and you can do this under 90 seconds. I tried it a lot of times. I tried it on tape. We went out with some video cameras and I actually filmed this, and it works every single time. Okay? But you can't just leave and then think, oh yeah, well, I got a phone number now. Okay? You need to stay in set. You need to continue. Okay? But what I thought is a really cool way is once you created some attraction around the comfort stage, okay, you can use this little trick, okay? And once you use it, you know, it's a good way to make friends with her friends, okay? Because you want to appear as different. You want to appear as unique. And those little, you know, fun toys that you can play with, those little tricks, they create a lot of attraction. They make you appear really, really interesting, okay? You're not just some other schmo who's just trying to pick her up, okay? But again, the attraction didn't stick, so don't rely on actually getting a number that you can use to set up a date, okay? If you don't stay in set and go into the getting to know each other stage, okay? But again, if somebody just thinks, oh yeah, well I can get more phone numbers than you, hey, use that trick, and trust me, you will bum rush absolutely everybody who thinks he can pick up more women than you, okay? Try it. It's pretty good stuff.